this video, we're going to take a look at line spacing in Word 2016. Most of these commands are exactly the same as they have been in previous versions of Word. And the line spacing is on the Home tab, and it is in the paragraph group here, and this button right here is the line and paragraph spacing button. And if we click on the down arrow here, we see we have choices for single spacing, 1.5 spacing, 2, 2.5, 3, and then there's a dialog box we can go to that gives us more options. This is a place we can also remove or space before or after a paragraph, but we're not going to take a look at that. As a matter of fact, probably the easiest place to do that is on the Layout tab in the paragraph group under spacing. So let's go back here. Okay. So you notice that the default here is 1.15. It's not 1.0. Let's grab a few paragraphs here, and actually what I'm going to do with these paragraphs here is I'm going to set the space before and after to 0 on all of them, so they're all spaced. Actually, this is not 0, is it? We've got some space before down here of 6 points. So let's make them all the same here, and we'll go back and make the space before on these 6 points as well. So now they're all spaced the same. But if we're in this paragraph, or actually any paragraph in this document, if we go to the Home tab and click on the down arrow here, we see that they add a little bit of extra space in there. And single spacing, to me, actually looks a little bit cluttered. And if you do 1.15 spacing, I think it makes your document look a little bit easier to read. Let's just select these first 3 paragraphs here, and let's go and take a look at what they look like single spaced. And I think that's a little bit harder to read. Let's do 1.15. And apparently somebody at Microsoft thought that 1.15 made the document look better, and I agree with them on that. So that's the default. If you want single, if you're doing a paper and it has to be single spaced, you're going to have to go up here and change it to single space. Okay, we've got some other common ones: 1.5 spacing, double spacing, and these are probably less common: 2.5 and triple spacing. And so those are the options from the menu here. We've also got some line spacing options here, and if you click on this, we can go over here, and this is where you can get real specific about what you want your line spacing to be. And we've got a few other things here, but those are covered in other videos. So you can go in here and you can change it to whatever you want, but I'm guessing 99% of the time you're going to pick from one of the presets that are listed up here. Okay. Another way to change that is to go to your dialog box launcher here, and this gets you the same place that we were over here. I don't think there's much need to do that because most of the time you're going to be picking stuff right off of here. The other thing that I want to take a look at with this text is there are some keyboard shortcuts. There's a keyboard shortcut for single, double, and 1.5. So I'm going to leave this selected, and I'm going to do a Control 1 as in single space. And you see it gets a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to do a Control 2, and it should be double spaced. And then I'm going to do a Control 5, which is 1.5. Now that one may be a little harder to remember. The way I remember it is that 1.5 is 1.5, and so I assume that's where the 5 came from for that. So those are some keyboard shortcuts for quickly changing the defaults. There is no keyboard shortcut that I'm aware of for any of the other options here, including 1.15. So if we're going to go back to 1.15, you have to go